ever been with a group of young people and you meet somebody that just has the gift of the gab? They have a gift for storytelling. It's no problem whatsoever. But then I'm sure you've met somebody that is, has a story to tell, and they're just shy and uncertain, and they don't have confidence. Both of these people can benefit from the Youth Leadership Program. Hi, everybody. My name is Teri. I am a distinguished Toastmaster, and I'm also the Youth Leadership Program Coordinator for District 106 this year. I'm a member of 2 Toastmasters clubs, 2401 Dialoguers and 8293 Power Speakers. I'm going to share my screen right now and start my PowerPoint presentation. So today I would like to introduce you to the Youth Leadership Program, what it is, and how it can help you as a Toastmasters member, and how it potentially could help your club. Getting back to my role in terms of District 106 Youth Leadership Program Coordinator, my job in that role is to make sure that you all are aware of the amazing opportunity that the Youth Leadership Program is, and help make connections between those of you that want to help out with the Youth Leadership Program and those organizations that can benefit, and bring those two things together. How did I get started with the Youth Leadership Program? Well, back in about 2017, a fellow Toastmaster named Dan Brunthner, who was then the Youth Leadership Program Coordinator, and he was also on the board of directors with a great organization called Urban Roots. And I had been working with that organization also with the youth that were in the conservation tract of the program, introducing them to natural resources related careers. So Dan approached the board of Urban Roots and said, I think the Youth Leadership Program would be a great thing for our organization. And they said yes. Dan and I connected. We both knew each other from Toastmasters. We knew each other through Urban Roots. We ran the program for 3 years. In 2018, we had about 10 youth that consistently came each week. And here are a few quotes from what they had to say about it. Cecilia, who has the black shirt on the left with the white circle, she says, dang, I never realized that gestures were so important. They can be helpful or not. And Sai, who is in the middle with the red plaid shirt, said, I could see my confidence getting stronger every time I gave a speech. We ran the program in 2019. We had a smaller attendance that year. I'm really not sure why. But in 2020, we leapt into the virtual world and did it via Zoom. We had great participation. About 15 to 17 youth came each week. We even had a girl that visited us all the way from Egypt. And it was a very heartwarming experience, I have to say. Those youth were hungry to connect with each other. They were lonely. They wanted their stories to be told. We even had a young man who talked about depression and mental health issues and getting help for that. And that was very brave of him to talk about. So it was a very heartwarming experience, I have to say, doing it virtually. So what is the Youth Leadership Program? It's a leadership and public speaking program for youth under 18. It usually runs for 8 weeks, about an hour or 2 each week. And it's led by fellow Toastmasters. You can see a picture here of me and a fellow Toastmaster, Dave Bankston. How do they learn these qualities? Well, in terms of leadership, there are officer roles. We elect a president, a vice president, a secretary, and a sergeant at arms. The sergeant at arms sets up the meeting space, and opens up the meeting. The secretary takes notes of the business meeting and records the titles of the speeches and the times. With the way we ran it, the vice president was the backup to the president, but also was the timer. And the president organized the meetings with the help of the Toastmaster and ran the meetings. And this was done for 4 weeks. And then we switched over to another group of young people. So in total, 8 people got a chance to really hone in on their leadership skills. And let me give you an example of something that might happen at the business meeting. Week 7, there's an opportunity to do something called show your skills. And the youth would, at the business meeting, talk about how should we do this? We could do it by perhaps a mock trial, a debate, maybe a simple little counterpoint, like a little mini session on, I like cupcakes. No, cake is better. It can be something silly. Or you can have a thematic set of speeches around one topic. So the president would lead the discussion with the other members. What do you want to do? They might eventually vote on it in parliamentary procedure, do a resolution. Are there any amendments? And vote on it. So that's how leadership skills are developed. Public speaking skills are developed by giving speeches, just like we do. Their first speech is an icebreaker, and we try to fit in 2 speeches per youth, and that's on whatever topic they want to share about. We have table topics each week, and each week they're given a mini teaching lesson by the Toastmaster, or perhaps a guest Toastmaster that comes in for that session. It can be on why are gestures important? Why is vocal variety important? How to organize your speech? How to do an effective evaluation? It's a great way for you as a Toastmaster to hone in on those skills. You have to compact all that you know into about 2 to 5 minutes. It's a great exercise. So here is an example of an agenda. And I know it's very busy, and it's intentionally busy because we want the president and the Toastmaster that's leading the meeting to be very clear as to what's going on and feel confident and not get lost. So you can see the Sergeant at Arms opens up the meeting. Cecilia Rodriguez, the president, welcomes a guest and tells a short story about using her Toastmaster skills at home. She then calls on the secretary to read the minutes. And then that week, myself, I was doing a mini lesson on good listening tips and evaluations. And then you can see we went into their icebreaker presentations, 3 to 5 minutes. And after that, we would go into evaluations and then table topics. So depending upon the number of youth that are in the program, the maximum is 25, which I think would be a lot, but the maximum per what Toastmasters sets up is 25. The meeting could run for an hour or 2, depending on how many things you need to get in. So why should you get involved in it as a Toastmaster? Well, I hope I alluded to it earlier that I think working with youth is very inspiring. They are always more creative and more surprising than we all give them credit for. So every time I work with a set of youth, I learn something new, I laugh, sometimes tears come to my eyes. It's a way to hone your skills by giving those mini teaching lessons. It can fulfill something in your pathways path. That's very flexible. And if you're on your way to getting your DTM, your Distinguished Toastmaster Award, it can fulfill one of those requirements also. And then it helps with recruitment. And you might say, well, how does it help with recruitment? Because I know you have to be 18 to be in Toastmasters, and the youth leadership program is for people under 18. Well, here's a great example. The organization that you're working with, they're all learning about Toastmasters. All the adults in that organization are learning about Toastmasters. And the way that we ran our sessions with Urban Roots is we had a celebration at the end where I think there were 2 speeches given. It was really fun because the youth decided themselves to turn the tables. They ran table topics for the members of the audience. But the members of the audience are all learning about Toastmasters. That can be their parents, the people associated with the organization. We invited local officials, elected officials to attend. So the celebration can be a real recruitment tool also. There are resources from Toastmasters International. You can order the Youth Leadership Program kit. It has a coordinator's guide, evaluation sheets, student workbooks, certificates for the students, and certificates for the coordinator. Or you can also order each one of these things individually if you want. So how can you help the Youth Leadership Program? One, I made a list here of potential organizations, and this was just a brain dump from me, and I'm sure there are many more organizations that could benefit from the Youth Leadership Program. So whatever connections that you have, let them know about Youth Leadership Program. And then also you can get involved by being willing to help run a Youth Leadership Program with an organization that is interested. That's my job, is to marry up the organization that want to do it with Toastmasters that want to help and bring them together. You could also be of assistance by being on the District 106 Youth Leadership Program Committee, which right now has a membership of 1. That would be me. And I know that I could get a lot more work done if I had some additional help. So my contact information is on this slide, my email and my phone number. Contact me if you're interested in helping out. And look for next month in the D106 newsletter. I will be putting together a flyer that will succinctly explain what the Youth Leadership Program is that you can hand out to organizations. But you don't have to wait for that. Meet up with people, talk about it, let them know that it exists. And now what I'd like to do is I'd like to go to a short 1 minute, 20-second video. I happened to run into one of the youth that I worked with Urban Roots recently at a different event. So I asked her, could we record a little interview about what you remember about the Youth Leadership Program? And she said yes. So I'd like to share you a session with Rashada and me talking about the Youth Leadership Program.
My name is Rashada and I'm part of Urban Roots.
And Rashada did Urban Roots and the Youth Leadership Program in 2020 when we did it virtually. So Rashada, what do you remember from what you learned while we did the Youth Leadership Program?
Well, it was a lot, but then we did some speeches about ourselves and of what we experienced. And at first, it was very nerve-wracking. But then, as I kept presenting, it was more comfortable, I guess. And I did learn some tips of how to make a speech, like don't say like I'm doing right now, but and to be loud and to use gestures like I'm doing, and yeah.
Well, I just want to say I enjoy doing the program so much virtually. It would have been better in person, but it was really heartwarming to see how much you all enjoyed visiting with each other and telling your stories virtually.
It was also very fun too because I'm not a very good talker and I didn't really have much experience in speaking, but then I met you and I got more experience and now I'm better at it, I guess.
Well, thank you.
Thank you.